if you guys have been following along with SeaWorld San Diego and SeaWorld Orlando, they both have been sued now for $3 million construction line lawsuit against them for not being able for their attractions Emperor and Icebreaker, and that's because their construction has not been able to be fully. They haven't been able to fully pay off the construction team that's been working on those two attractions. Similarly, now RMC has filed their own line lawsuit against Busch Gardens Tampa Bay, and this is in total for $3,536,854.39. Iron Gwazi is not going to be completed, at least, or the sum of money for Iron Gwazi has not been completely paid at this moment in time. So RMC has filed a lien lawsuit against the park.
Yeah, this has been when this news reported, like the roller coaster community has exploded into this. Oh my God, it's the end. It's blah blah blah, and like the thing that cracks me up is everybody's like, oh wait, they put a lien against the roller coaster. Like that's such a horrible thing. There's a lien against and I guarantee you half the people saying this are driving a car with a lien against it because it's financed. And like this is the thing, people aren't getting the concept of what's going on here. A lien doesn't necessarily mean that the ride can't open or that the property can't be used. If you take out a mortgage, if you use a house as collateral, the bank files a lien against that house. All that is saying is that that company is placing an interest in that property, meaning they have specific rights. So RMC can easily say, here's like they file the lien. Legally, it is documented that RMC has an interest in that property, but RMC can also say at the same time, you can go ahead and use the ride as, you know, but here's stipulations, or here's how we're going to handle this. It's not necessarily a no-go. And everybody seems to be jumping on this bandwagon that, oh, well, this is obviously why SeaWorld's not opening their attractions. But everybody's forgetting that a month or so ago, SeaWorld in their investor call specifically said they are highly considering not opening their 2020 attractions this year and saving them for 2021, which makes sense from a marketing perspective because, well, and two, from a capacity perspective as well. You don't want to actually draw in those crowds for a new ride this year. You'd rather save that for next year. It just makes more sense. So everybody seems to be linking two things that aren't related at all. And it's not saying, I mean, RMC could very easily say, hey, like, you're not allowed to operate that. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. In the Orlando Sentinel article, Premier Rides was actually even quoted as saying, look, we have to do this from a legal standpoint. This is kind of a requirement, but we're business people too. We understand what's going on. We understand these issues, and they're basically saying, like, look, we get what they're going through, and we look forward to working with them again in the future. Like, there's no bad blood. It's a complete understanding. And SeaWorld even said this when they first closed their parks, that they weren't going to be processing payments while the parks were closed. So this was kind of an upfront thing. And there was also even a business, I think it was a professor, I can't remember off the top of my head, but somebody was quoted in the article as saying, these liens are a normal part of business. Yes, the quantity is a little bit higher, and there's a little bit of abnormality to it. But in its base, this is just a part of business. This happens every year. It happens across the world, really. So people are like really, really misinterpreting this. Yes, there's the potential. There's some financial frustration ahead, issues ahead. We don't know. We can't make that judgment from this from what we know now.
Probably be very, very, very likely to see this come out with Pantheon and Icebreaker as well. Well, Icebreaker
I
actually.
actually think
Icebreaker was
they
already
both
in.
do already.
Icebreaker was already. It already happened with Icebreaker actually, but with Pantheon.
Yeah, I think there's something. I don't know that there's actually a lien against Pantheon, but I think there may have been a lawsuit filed with something to do with labor costs. I'm not completely sure. But again, even a lawsuit is oftentimes a technicality and not a sign of bad blood or somebody being upset. It's just a legal protection that just like says, look, we are documenting legally that you owe us this, like, so that there's no question,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't back out. Like, it's just a legal proceeding. And sometimes, like, even insurance companies will require it. Like, look, they're not paying their bills. Like, you have to file a lawsuit. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that, oh, we're upset with you and like we're suing you. It's like it's just a legal proceeding that has to happen in the course of business.
And thankfully, to these or because of these lawsuits filed against SeaWorld, we actually got some information, got some leaked information a bit, which
Yeah,
which is awesome, which is great for especially for us coaster
because
boys.
they
We got some
filed
news.
liens against stuff that wasn't even thought
Yeah.
to be something.
So through these, it looks as though a Mack Powersplash ride could be coming to SeaWorld San Antonio. We don't know, and all of this could have been canceled. It could have been postponed. It could have been delayed. We don't know what's going on, but it looks as though was in the works a Powersplash ride, and also a swing ride, quote unquote. So that's what they've classified this as. Many speculating that swing ride would be a S&S Screamin' swing, just because that's the trend that SeaWorld's been doing. They've been adding those to their
Yeah.
parks, so that would make sense that would be that. And it was, I think it was classified as a thrill attraction, so people were speculating that that was the only type of thrill swing attraction they could think of. So this is exciting stuff. SeaWorld San Antonio is a very, very a big park, but it has not a lot of attractions. Not a lot of attractions. And I think this is going to be, I mean, they've been adding coasters now. They have Texas Stingray this year. They got Wave Breaker a couple years ago. They had Steel Eel. They had Great White. But they need a little bit more. And I think this is going in the right direction. I think they definitely, I mean, they have a beautiful park there. They have that awesome, huge lake in the middle. They have some really awesome attractions. And I know that that lake can be utilized better, and I think that's where they're going to maybe even put the Mack Powersplash rides. Maybe not in the center. It wouldn't be like a centerpiece to the lake because I think that would look kind of bad. But have it on like one of the edges of the lake. It would look really awesome. And we've seen it been done. That's how they do these Mack Powersplash rides. They actually put them on a body of water, some sort of water, and then they have them. It's a roller coaster that shuttles back and forth, and then at the very end of the ride, actually utilizing almost the water as like a brake system, and it splashes up that water, which is awesome. And then, of course, S&S Screamin' swings are typical rides that you see at a lot of parks. Kennywood has one. Busch Gardens Williamsburg now has one. Dorney Park had like one. I don't know why that came to my mind. Cedar Point has one. A lot of parks have them. And
Hollywood has one, I believe.
Dollywood has one. Yes, that's correct. That's a good one. Barnstormer, I believe, is the name of that one. And yeah, they're very popular attractions. They're fantastic. And I also heard that there might be some interaction with the water. That's what people are speculating about, which would be incredible because I know from experience, the Screamin' Swings you get an added bonus when there is some sort of physical terrain utilized with them, because we have not Battle for Ire, Finnegan's Flyer, excuse me, and that is our S&S Screamin' Swing at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and that utilizes that cliff that kind of goes over this body of water, and it adds so much to the thrill. I mean, it's incredible, and even as like, and
I'll tell you, what would be awesome is if you do that, but not only just have it over water,
yeah,
but do something like the Crypt, where you have water jets that shoot up and then disappear just as you fly through.
That would be cool. That would be really cool. And I think SeaWorld's the kind of park that could maintain that very well, because they they do it with Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. So that would be freaking awesome. I would love that. That would probably top maybe Finnegan's Flyer for best Screamin' Center, which is pretty tough to do. I didn't think it would be done.
Yeah, yeah. That would definitely be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with SeaWorld. I mean, they definitely, in this last year or so, they've been kind of, I don't know, behaving very oddly and not necessarily being responsible, and kind of like from a company perspective, just kind of just being jerks. I mean, I think that's really the only way you could put it. But this, like, there's nothing right now, like, this isn't anything I'm going to throw him under the bus. This is just life right now. We're in a pandemic. Things have changed, and companies are adjusting, and I think they'll get through it. I don't see any reason why they won't. But all we can really do is wait and see. And the same with the new rides. I mean, they may. I think there's a likelihood they're still going to progress, but they may be delayed. And we just have to see. I mean, time is the only thing that's going to answer these questions.